To the brand newest members, we are a community of believers with very similar goals. We want to raise our children to the glory of God, like Carl was talking about earlier. Of course, we want to protect them. Of course, we want to give them the very best education possible. Of course, we want them to all excel and be little Einsteins or little Dickens. Charles, not just little Dickens. And I feel pretty comfortable in saying that for most of us, this is also a journey about mentoring and discipleship in our faith. It's easy day to day to kind of lose sight of that goal sometimes and to forget that it's all about the hearts, right? It's about the hearts of our children. It's about our hearts. We're mentoring our children in our faith. If the baby's crying and the toddler's throwing dirt clods and the 7-year-old's crying because she doesn't understand her math, and the 12-year-old just grabbed her iPad and has no idea how to get it back, that can become a little stressful. So I want to talk to you today about this year, really us purposing to live graceful lives in honoring each other and honoring the Lord and honoring the host churches that provide a place for us to have events, tutorials, and all the things that we do. Leadership works pretty hard to get tutorials for those, just to help you guys. We want anything that is done through CASA, because there's a volunteer who says, I think people would really like to have SAT testing in the spring for their kids. And so they set about to organize that for all of us, and I hope that we can be very purposeful this year in being aware of how many of you, almost every person in this room, is involved in doing something for this group to help make it easier for everybody. We want that attitude to be contagious. We hope that gracious attitude that so many of you extend, that helping hand to each other, we hope that from member to member, from leadership to members, from members to tutors, to our students, to the host churches, we want to be known as a group that exudes love and grace. We want the students of CASA to have a reputation for putting others before themselves too. Now I know that some of you are saying, hey, I think we are a pretty gracious group, and I really agree. But there are a few areas that we hope to continue to improve. Isn't that just funny? You knew I was up here talking about parking, didn't you? And facilities and dress code, yeah. Okay, so for the new members, let me just clue you into the joke. Parking for tutorials at First Baptist is a breeze. There's never a problem. There's a great grass area, there's a sidewalk, lots of little spots to pull in, the kids are all safe, and then it's handy, it's lovely, never a problem. The parking guidelines, by the way, are in your handbook if you're a new member, so they're all written down, and if you're an old member, they're also in your handbook that you can download. So First Baptist, never a problem. The test of our gracious hearts, however, seems to center around parking at Jubilee on tutorial days. So let me preface this whole thing by saying to you that leadership desperately strives to keep our kids safe. That's the goal. If we can keep that in mind, that the goal is the safety of our kids, that's the motivation. Those of you who have younger students attending tutorials, really seriously, you should stand up and cheer, because we really try. There are going to be signs this year, and we've kind of condensed our expectations, if that makes sense. Okay? Not reduced them, just hopefully make them simpler to understand. So I'm going to go through it, but it's all written down for you. Okay? The problem is that Jubilee needs their own parking lot, so we have to park in the adjacent lot, which you entered through Flynn, kind of by Taco Bell. By the way, if you have teen drivers, if you could just remind them that we would like them to park towards the rear of that lot, towards Flynn, that keeps them out. They don't have to drive where the little kids are congregating for classes and the people are backing out. So teen drivers, if they can park in the rear of the lot, that'd be terrific. For the rest of us, there's going to be a sign on a red cone, and it's going to say, drop off here. Just hold it back, drive around, pull up, and if you pull all the way up to where that sign is, several cars will be able to fit. Several people can offload kids at once. Easy peasy pie, right? No problem. Okay. Then second thing, when you come to pick up, so you members, here's what the problem's been. When you come to pick up, we do need you to pull into a spot and come to where there will be a red cone and a sign that says pick up here for your younger kids, 8th grade and down, K through 8. We want an adult to come and pick them up at the sign. And on the back of the sign, there will be wait here for pickup for the kids too, so they know where they're supposed to stand, and there's a monitor there to kind of help them remember. We are just trying to keep kids safe. And I know, if you have both drop-up and pick-up to do, and we are asking you to pull pull up to drop off, then circle around, pull in, pick up. That seems like, gosh, I'm going around the building one whole more time. Yeah, I know. I used to circle the building too. But we've got to keep the kids out of the parking lot. We have to. Because it's not just us driving through there. That's a business parking lot. And there are delivery trucks and things that zip through there. You'd be surprised how fast UPS goes through the back of that parking lot. And as a tutor who stands there with the kids a lot, let me tell you what. Normal, well-behaved, lovely children who are obedient in every single way will dart quickly towards mom's car when they see her and not notice that somebody's about to back out. Ed
What?
do you remember my 10th or 11th grade son, who was taller than me,
supposed to be there.
he was next to me and we were going to in and out with the basketball team after a game. He's behind me and suddenly there was a car coming down the road and he saw his friends right across there, and at 16 years old, runs right out in front of the car. And I grabbed him by the back of his shirt and pulled him back. 16 years old! Right?
I pushed, you pulled.
Probably true. So they are all capable of making a mistake. They are. And so my plea to you this year is, if you have a problem with parking, or if you feel the monitor is being too harsh or whatever, do not talk to the monitor about it. Just smile and be gracious and loving and sweet. Come talk to me. Call me. Email me. I have big shoulders, so I can take it. Okay? But the monitors are simply trying to interpret the guidelines that we're giving them. We're trying desperately to keep the kids safe. So for everybody else, monitors to parents, parents to monitors, everybody, the kids, let's just be gracious and loving and have honoring hearts and assume the best about them and their intentions. Okay? And then we'll need to live up to that too. Enough about parking. Okay. For all of our events, not just the tutorials, we have a little guideline about how to live in our host churches. I just kind of asked that we would share that with our kids. If you're going to come to history night, or if you're going to come to, science fair, just sort of review. The churches would love for us to stay out of plans. It's funny, one kid dancing in the landscaping isn't so bad, but there's always 20. I don't know. They follow each other through that stuff. So we want to make sure to teach them to honor the generosity of our host churches who have no obligation to us and who are really gracious to invite us to use their facility, to be respectful. Also, one thing, I don't want to make too big a deal of this. This is just like a word to the wise, okay? We ask the kids not enter the churches unaccompanied. For instance, if you're waiting in the car to pick somebody up and they need to use the restroom, we ask that they not be sent into like Jubilee particularly, into the church unaccompanied, and here's why. Like I said, I don't want to make more of this than it is. There are all kinds of people in that church, wandering in and out, coming to and from, not just staff of the church, not CASA people. There are people I don't know. I'm sure they're truly wonderful and lovely people, but I don't know them. Leadership does not know them. And just because we want to act with wisdom in protecting our children's safety, we ask that if your child needs to use the restroom, just pop in with them. Okay? Just keep an eye on them. And then if you see staff at our host churches, please make sure to thank them. We want to be the very best guests that they've ever had. We hope that they know how much we appreciate them. We want them to enjoy having the students in and to feel appreciated. They are. We are so thankful. And then the final thing I'm going to talk about real quick is dress code and discipline. This is easy. If you have students in tutorials, the tutor's going to go ahead and go over the discipline policies and the handbook for your students. So pink slips, red slips, you can read all about it in there. Number one discipline problem in CASA is that our kids are so bright and witty and talkative, that they just like to talk a lot. Number two problem is cell phones. Guess who's calling them? Mom. Texting, I'm going to be late to pick you up. Yeah, I don't want them to know that right in the middle of our discussion on, and Brad's or something. All right, so just be aware of that we normally, high school tutors, I think most of us, collect them and put them in a basket and stick them on a shelf until after the tutorial. So, dress code, it's really interesting. I've never, ever, ever had a student purposefully come in and defiantly stamp their foot and say, I'm going to break the dress code. What they do say? They say, wow, I didn't know CASA had a dress code. Aha! We have a little communication issue. So if you have a teenager particularly, because they tend to be the ones that pick out their own outfits, we understand some of our families are much more conservative than others, and this is another one of those places where leadership's trying to walk not telling you what's right, how it's right to dress for your family, what's appropriate, not in any way, shape, or form. We think that if you want to have your kids to school in their bathing suits on a floaty in the middle of the pool, that is, terrific for your family if that's what you have chosen to do. But for when we get together, we do have standards that we can all live with from picture day straight through the year. So if you could just share that with your teenagers especially, before they pick up that first school outfit that includes spaghetti straps and they come to class and the tutor goes, dress codes as spaghetti straps. That would be disappointing and hurtful. So that's just a way for us to honor our own students and our children. Okay, so I hope this wasn't too painful, right? If you have questions or problems with anything, just shoot me an email, call me over the next week. I won't be able to be here tomorrow, so I'm leaving tonight to go to my sister's. All right, but you can talk to me afterwards or shoot me an email and we can discuss it. CASA at its best is when we all wonder, what can I do to make it better? So let's make this year a year of extravagant grace to each other and continue supporting and assisting our sisters and brothers where we can and caring for one another sincerely so we glorify our Father who is in heaven. You all were so attentive that you